Today I'm going to show you a few techniques on how to add rain to a picture in Photoshop. This is going to be the outcome of our project. So what you're going to want to do is find a picture with a lot of brightness as well as contrast, just like this one. So let's get started. We're going to go up to the menu bar, hit Image, go down to Adjustments, then Brightness/Contrast. We're going to want to lower the brightness a bit. I'm going to put mine around -45. It doesn't have to be exact. Depending on the picture, it may be different. I have mine at -44. And then for the contrast, somewhere around +50. Alright, I'm going to hit OK. So what we just did there was basically we boosted the contrast as well as darkening the shadows in our photo. So we're going to go back to Image, then Adjustments, down to Hue/Saturation. We're going to grab the saturation key and we're going to move it down to around -45 to desaturate our photo. Doesn't have to be exact again. I mean, I have -46. Then we're going to hit OK. So now we have a darker photo than what we had before. But it's still not enough to make it a rain effect. Usually, if you were to see a rainy photo, kind of dreary, it has a blue tint to it. So what we're going to do is add some blue. So we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, then down to Color Balance. Now we have three different settings that we can modify. We have shadows, midtones, and highlights. We're going to hit highlights. Then we're just going to grab this tab right here and we're just going to increase the blue. I've got mine to +100. Mine looks good right there. But depending on the picture, yours might be different. So my picture looks pretty good. I'm going to hit OK. So, we're pretty much done modifying our picture. Now all we gotta do is add the rain. So, before we start, make sure that your foreground and background colors are white on black. If you're not sure how to do that, just press the D button on the keyboard and then press the X button. And hopefully it should work that way. Hopefully you'll get a white foreground and a black background. So now we're going to add a new layer. So go down to the bottom right and click this button right here. It's going to add a new layer for us. And now we're going to go up to Filter, down to Render, and we're going to click Clouds. Now we have some clouds. We're going to go back up to Filter, hit Noise, and then Add Noise. Make sure the amount is all the way to 400%, and make sure the distribution is at Gaussian. Monochromatic is definitely checked, and then click OK. Make sure that monochromatic is checked, by the way. Make sure it's checked. Alright. Now we're going to go back up to Filter, go to Blur, and then Gaussian Blur. We're going to put a 0.5 pixel Gaussian blur to it, and then hit OK. So there we go. Now we are going to go to Image, down to Adjustments, and then to Levels. We're going to grab this black dial right here. We're going to bring it all the way to 225. Make sure that it says 225 right here. Alright, then we're going to hit OK. Now what we have is a bunch of white and gray dots. So those are going to be our raindrops, but we still have to add the rainy type effect to it. So we're going to go to Filter, down to Blur, and then Motion Blur. Now we're going to change the angle to somewhere around -70. It doesn't have to be exactly. I have mine at -72, just whatever it is your preference. Then for the distance, make sure it's 20 pixels, exactly 20 pixels, then hit OK. So you can kind of see the rain effect appearing, but the raindrops are kind of dark. So we're going to increase the brightness and contrast a bit. So we're going to go to Image, down to Adjustments, to Brightness/Contrast. We're going to boost the brightness all the way to 150, and we're going to lower the contrast all the way to -50. So now you can see the raindrops are appearing. Now we can hit OK. Some people, they may stop right here. They may say, okay, That looks pretty good, you know. I mean, that does look like rain, but we're going to take it a few steps further. We're going to make it look a lot nicer. So we're just going to add another new layer down in the bottom right. Hit that button again. And now we're going to go back up to filter, go down to render, clouds. Alright, we got clouds again. Now we're going to go back to filter again. We're going to go to noise and add noise. Make sure that the amount is still at 400%. We have Gaussian selected and monochromatic is checked. Now hit OK. Then we're going to go to filter again, go down to blur, Gaussian blur. Our pixels are 0.5. OK. And then we are going to go to image, adjustments, levels. Now this is where it's going to change up a bit. We're going to grab our black tab again. We're going to carry it all the way this time to 235. Alright. Then we're going to hit OK. Now it may not seem very visible right now, but we have fewer dots than we did before. So that's awesome, right? Yeah. Okay. We're going to go back to filter, down to blur, then motion blur. Same exact settings, negative whatever you have your angle to be, and then pixels, 20 pixels, hit OK. We're going to increase, go to image adjustments, we're going to increase the brightness slash contrast all the way, again, and yeah, okay, we're going to decrease the contrast actually, my bad, and then we're going to hit OK. So we got even more raindrops, cool. But we are going to take it a step further because these raindrops are the same length and width as the raindrops that we made before. We are going to make bigger raindrops the next time to make it look a little bit more realistic. So we're going to go back down to the bottom right again. We're going to add a new layer. I know this is getting pretty repetitive, but it'll be okay. Go up to filter again, down to render, and then clouds. Go up to filter again, sorry, and then noise, add noise. Make sure it's 400%, Gaussian, monochromatic is selected. Click OK. Go back up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, 0.5 pixels, OK. And now we're going to go back to image, adjustments, and levels. Now we are going to change this black dial again. This time we're going to change it to go to 245. Alright. Yep, 245. Right here. Cool. Alright. Hit OK. Now this time we have even fewer dots. So we are going to go to filter, blur, and then motion blur. Make sure the angle is exactly how it is, except we are going to change the pixels this time to a number between 40 and 50. So I'm going to put mine to 45. Then hit OK. Alright. Now you can't even really see our raindrops now, but that's okay. We're going to go up to image, to adjustments, then brightness slash contrast. We're going to increase the brightness again, lower the contrast. This time they're starting to appear a bit more. Hit OK. Mine are still a bit darker, but if you think yours look okay, then you don't have to do this next step, but mine are a bit darker. This is for those that their raindrops right now are a bit darker. Go back up to image, adjustments, to brightness slash contrast. We're just going to do the same thing over again. Increase the brightness, lower the contrast all the way. Now you see our raindrops did get a lot, you know, friggin' whatever, brighter. I don't know. Alright, hit OK. So we are pretty much done making our raindrops. Now the last steps that we have to do, we have to make all of our rain layers to screen mode, alright? If you don't know how to do that, you come over here to the blend modes, you go down to screen, and just do that for all three of these layers. Don't do it for your background layer, don't do it for your original layer, just for the rain layers, hit screen for each and every one of them, and there you go guys. There is your rain effect.